What's going on, everybody? Weekly Word coming to us with a lot of energy. Just finished run streak day 888. Absolutely love running the crazy eights. Rocky and I sprinted it in. He was pulling the whole way, keeping it under 8. Great time. And the Weekly Word came to me during the run. There was a lady, she was walking her 2 dogs, and her 2 dogs were yapping when they saw us. Like, they were all kind of fired up. They were just like, both of them pulling her along, looking at me, looking at Rocky, just barking. And in that moment, it became clear to me that those dogs needed a release. And that's the Weekly Word, release. You know, so many times in life, there's situations that come about. And I think that they come about because individuals involved, or the impetus for the incident, is an individual who needs a release. And unfortunately, hasn't had a way to really find an alternative way for that release. What am I saying? Well, sometimes you can put like a pot of water on the oven, and that pot of water is eventually going to boil and get you ready for your ramen noodles. But if you don't take that heat and turn it down, that boiling pot of water is going to release over the edges as it has nowhere else to go. When all you could have done is turn the heat down or move it to another burner and prevented a release that was out of control, so to speak. I'm not saying that the release doesn't need to happen in another way, but maybe a release that is phased. Maybe a release that allows you to slowly, over the course of your life, and in some cases, frankly, over the course of a day, finding something that allows you to release that pent-up emotion or pent-up energy. I'm also reminded of like a rain cloud, right? Rain clouds, as they get darker and darker and darker, and eventually they release all the rain, all part of the natural process. But in some cases, those particular rain clouds, they won't get to a point where they're full of rain or precipitation, because they'll slowly dissipate as they move across the country, basically releasing their energies as they move, ultimately preventing a situation of just a downpour that could then have 2nd, 3rd, 5th, 10th order effects. It's these types of things that finding a way to release and or providing people in your presence with a way to release is so important to maintaining just a balance of happiness, kindness, positivity. Those things that we look forward to in life vis-a-vis those things that create an unnecessary amount of drama. In the past 48 hours, I've seen some things across the gamut of release when it comes to slow release and high release. I've seen 2 grown men hollering at each other over a simple miscommunication or 2 that were never discussed. And therefore, the situation was never like addressed, and they never were able to release. Whereas I was just mentioning the dogs I mentioned a moment ago, and this is weird. This lady's probably like, what are you doing? But there's the dogs. Like, we finished the run, and now they're on their walk. Look how calm the dogs are. The calmness is upon them because the dogs had their release earlier. They got a chance to be protective and to bark at us, and now they're relaxed. So did it have to come to that critical point of mass where they had to release in such an aggressive way? Well, maybe for them it did. But then again, they're dogs. They're not necessarily as smart as humans. So be a smart human, be a kind human, be a polite human, and practice slow release versus rain clouds that are dark, that are releasing. Have a great day, the rest of your week.